The Cure, Disintegration. Let's play through all the different sections of the song right at the top. Just jam right through them. After that, I'll come back around, give you a little more explanation, a little more guidance, let you know what I'm doing. I'll even get the bass sections in here for you a little later on. Please help out the channel, hit that subscription button, be greatly appreciated. I'm coming out with tons of videos, and you don't want to miss it. So, Disintegration by The Cure. Let's go. Okay, so more or less this is just kind of a single progression. Switches up a little bit towards the end, but for a good chunk of the song, it's just a single progression throughout the whole thing. It's just a matter of layered riffs being mixed in and laced throughout the whole thing. So I'll show you what each one of these are doing. The first one that comes in is this guitar playing this little octave riff where we'll start here up at the 9 on the A, and we'll do 11 on the G. And this is just kind of the initial previous measure sliding into the quote-unquote first measure of the progression. So we take this shape here, and we're just going to slide that to 5A, 7G. Okay, and this is technically where the progression starts. All right, so it's playing around with a C chord. These are just kind of some harmonies that we're mixing in with the C chord. Okay. And from there, the next measure, we're just going to bring it up 2 frets. 7A, 9 on the G. All right, and these are kind of like suspended seconds of the chords that are actually happening. So this is technically a D chord happening in the background, and we're playing that E on the top of it. Okay, and from there, the progression goes to E minor, and we just continue that trend by taking 9 on the A, 11 on the G. And with this, we hold this 2 measures. And we would go through this whole thing 3 times. Then we would just play the first couple measures of it, all right? And just rest those last 2 where we would have the E minor. Just a little quirk thing that happens there. All right, so let's just try it all the way up to tempo now, let you get the feel for it. Right, and then the second guitar will come in and play along with what the first guitar is doing. This one's doing a little more of a distorted thing happening. So just kind of playing with a harmony of what's going on with the other one. Okay, so we'll start here at the 5 on the G, slide that to 4. Okay, hold that a moment. Then we'll come over, we'll do slide 7 to 5 on the D, and then hit the 5 again. Hold that for a bit, and then we finish by doing the 4 on the D and just slide that down to open D. All right, go through that 3 times, and then we do this little riff where we go open D, 2, open 2, and just hold that 2. All right, and just repeat that 3 times as well. The verse comes along, and the guitar is kind of bouncing around with this this little scale on the E string that happens, and we're just alternating that with open B strings. Okay, so the overall progression stays the same, C, D to E minor, and we're just kind of playing various notes in the midst of those chords. All right, so this initial one, we're going to bounce between 5E and open B a few times. From there we come down to 2E, open Bs a few times. Come on up to 7E with the open Bs, do that a few. Okay, in the last measure, we'll just hit one more of those 7s with the open B, and then come on up to 10s. All right, and hit the 10 with the open B a couple times as well. Okay, go through that whole thing 3 times. Then repeat the first 2 measures, and then for the last couple measures on that last run through, just hit a couple of opens on the B and the E. And just let that ring. right, we get a cool little synth interlude solo thing that happens. Initially, it'll start here at the 5 of the E. Can interpretate this pretty well. Bring it up to 12 E, then down to 7. Okay. Do a D scale at 8B, 7B, 5B. Okay. Repeat all that twice. Then after we finish on that 5 the second time, we just stay there, hit it again. We go to 7B, 7G, 9D. All right, and then some actual little guitar thing comes in right here, and it does 4G, 7D, 5D. From there, we kind of start our initial little scale, but we just keep going higher with it. We go 5E, 7E, up to 12. All right, take it even further. We go 14, 15, 17, 19. We have a little fun with this choppy synth thing that comes in. Basically, you just want to take a tremolo effect and just, make it as square wave as possible, just as much clipping as you can. Put the rate pretty high there. Put a little distortion on it. That always sounds good. So we'll have something like this. Okay, just that really choppy tremolo effect to simulate this synth going on. And what we're going to play is 10 on the D, 12s on the G and B. We'll keep those 12s there, and we're just going to change this D. All right, so initially we just hit this 10 with the 12s. Okay, just make it all 12s. And then just make that D 14. Okay, so fun little mimic we can do here. All right, in the last verse, we kind of get a little switch with the progression. More or less stays the same. We just change that middle chord. All right, so we keep it with the C. All right, then we just drop it down a fret, make it a B instead of the usual D. And then finish with the E minor. Okay, just a little subtle change that happens towards the end there. Alright, got to get these bass lines in there. Probably the more recognizable riff of the song, bass line. So a lot of the song is just this single bass line right here. It'll switch kind of the middle of it a time or two throughout the song, but for the most part, we got this going on. So we'll start here at 3 on the A, and we're going to be bouncing between that, 5 on the D. Initially, you just want to hit this 3A, hold it a moment. Then we hit the 5D, 3A, 5D, 3 on the A. And right as we hit that final 3, we slide it up to 5 on the A. And then we just bounce between the 5D and the 5A, just like we did before. From there, we go to open E and go between that and the 5 on the D as well. And we do this twice as long. slowly. All right, and we would just loop that thing all the way through, 80% of the song. All right, and at that last verse, we get a little shift, like I was mentioning. All right, the intro first measure stays the same, but instead of sliding from that 3 to 5, we're going to just take that 3, slide it down to 2. And you could keep that 5 on the D, bouncing with that, but it's easier at this point just to hit the open G and mix that with the 2 on the A. So. And then we can go back to our open E with the 5 on the D. So just that one little change in the middle, and mostly just for this last verse that happens. We even get an additional funny little thing that happens after that last verse for, about 4 measures or so, where we're going to start it the same way, but now we add this note in the middle instead, where we go 4 on the D. All right, and with this, you're going to want to bounce between that and the open G. Okay. Interesting little thing that happens. And then of course we just go back to our low E with the 5D. Thanks for checking out the video, everybody. Like it, share it, leave a comment. It's always good to hear from you. Do me a favor and hit the subscription button. I put out a video pretty frequent, so you don't want to miss out on that. Check out the links in the description box below. I have really cool links for tablature books, all the gear I use, t-shirts, fun stuff like that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.